Hey guys, welcome to our weekly Team Bling training. So I'm super excited because if you guys can't tell by looking at your screens, our team is growing quickly by the day, which is super exciting because that means that we are growing as a team, we are building, we're getting out there, we're sharing the health and wealth, and we're sharing the amazing business opportunity here with It Works Global. So super excited. There's been a couple of shout outs here. Bethany, you're rocking it out with the wraps. You're still working it. You're a stay-at-home mom. You have a ton of kids to take care of. You have a special needs daughter to take care of, and yet you're still rocking this business. So shout out to you. Super proud of you. Another shout out to Miss Jenny. She's looking at me like, what? Because Jenny took it upon herself to partner up with Nikki, and the two of them actually partnered up last night and did a party for a potential distributor that wants to join the team. So, and out of that, like, I think they kind of had a negative vibe, like it wasn't very successful, but guess what? I wanted to share with you guys, there was only one active participant on their party last night, but guess what? The whole purpose of them doing that party for her potential distributor was to help her try to pre-sell those first 4 reps so she could join the team. And guess what? Even there was only one active participant, they were able to get 2 of those 4 reps pre-sold, and her girl is going to come up with the rest of it herself so she can join. So in my book, that party was a huge success. So congratulations, ladies. I loved seeing you guys working together. Jenny, I love how you are continuing to step into a leadership role and taking over more responsibilities. So I'm really proud of you for that. Let's see. All right, cool. So enough of the shout outs for a second. All right, so I don't know if you guys have seen me post, but this book, it's called Unqualified: How God Uses Broken People to Do Big Things. This is written by Pastor Stephen Furtick. So if you don't follow him on Instagram or on Facebook or not Instagram, YouTube, wow. He is not a network marketer, but man, does he have some good messages that really hit home and will help you to become a better person, because, you know, we stress so much about personal development being so important, because how do you expect to grow your business if you're not growing as a person, right? So personal development is something that's really, really big. And of course, for all of you that are local, you know I have a huge library of personal development books. So you guys are always welcome to borrow them as long as you bring them back in one piece when you're done with them. So I wanted to read some out of this book, Unqualified. It will go very quickly, but I want to open it up for discussion after I'm done reading to hear what you guys think, okay? All right, just one second here. All right. What comes to your mind when you hear the name Stephen Furtick? Now, just remember, you guys, if you're not familiar with who he is, you will be. What comes to your mind when you hear the name Stephen Furtick? The interviewer asked the renowned theologian. Hey, they're talking about me. I sprinted back into the room where the video was playing, secretly excited to be the center of attention. Of course, we all would be. I had read this guy's book about ministry in seminary, so I was rather flattered he knew my name. We had never met. I found this particular interview the way you discover most YouTube videos, by free falling into the abyss that is the recommended for you sidebar. After I'd clicked it, I'd walked away to get dressed for church. I could still hear the interview in the background, but I wasn't really listening, until out of nowhere I heard the sweetest sound of all, my own name. But I wasn't really listening. It's always great to be recognized, though, except when it's not. What comes to your mind when you hear the name Stephen Furtick? He sighed and dropped his head, signifying the mere consideration of my name was worrisome. That got the crowd chuckling. Apparently they knew he wasn't a fan. Long, pained pause, agonized grimace, bone-chilling stare. Then the verdict. Unqualified. Bless you. He delivered the 4 syllables with a disgust that understood the gravity and finality of his pronouncement. Only the gavel sound effect was missing. No elaboration, no explanation, no qualifiers. My whole life in ministry summed up in one single word: unqualified. And abruptly, the interview moved on. Unqualified? That word started the wheels spinning in my head. It was strange because part of me wanted to come to my own defense against YouTube, but the other part was thinking, friend, you don't know the half of it. Yes, I struggle with my temper, my focus, my motives, with my eating habits, my prayer life, with my state of mind, and that list doesn't even scratch the surface. I know my weaknesses and faults better than anyone. I don't need to listen to an online interview to feel disqualified. Hardly a day goes by that I'm not seized by the sensation that I have no business doing what I'm doing, that I am in over my head, that I don't deserve any kind of blessings or opportunities. Am I unqualified? So start to try to picture this as yourself, okay? You're going to see why I'm reading this. This book is the answer to that question. I'm not writing it in reaction to that random interview on YouTube. I've been asking myself that question my whole life, and maybe you have too. When I started the journey that lies behind this book, I wanted to finally figure out how to respond to that question within myself. I wanted to know if that guy was correct, if the whispers of doubt that regularly rattle through my head are inner demons to be ignored or warning bells to be heeded, if I should shoulder my responsibilities with confidence in my calling or panic and hide before I mess everything up. At one point or another, you've probably felt unqualified. Maybe you didn't have the dubious privilege of being informed of the fact via YouTube, but you knew it was true nonetheless. I think we all secretly fight feelings of inadequacy, insufficiency, and incompetence. We wonder whether we really measure up. We fear we are not enough, whatever that means in our own particular situations. Maybe it's in your character. There's a flaw, a crack, a deficiency that you try your hardest to hide. It could be lust, it could be anger, addiction. Even if it's in the past, you may live in secret fear that one day it will come back in a fury and destroy everything you're building. Maybe it's in your role as a parent. At the workplace, you have everything under control. You can buy and sell and trade with the best of them. But your home life is another story. You have no idea how to raise your teenager and you're feeling dangerously unprepared. Or maybe you know something deep in your soul is propelling you into ministry. Not necessarily full-time, but definitely something significant. You're supposed to be a leader, a decision maker, a risk taker, but your track record is far from spotless. And the thought of putting yourself out there is petrifying. What if you fail? What if your failures shipwreck others along the way? Many people live their entire lives fighting these contradictions. They deal constantly with voices in their heads telling them that they don't qualify, that they will never qualify, and they are totally, epically disqualified. I wrote a book called Crash the Chatterbox about how to sort through negative thoughts, but this book isn't about just changing what rattles around in our minds or what comes out of our mouths. It's about understanding who we really are now in order to be who we are capable of becoming. It's about ruthlessly peeling back the prejudices and assumptions we've made about ourselves. It's about letting God be our source of sufficiency. I have good news. If you look at the great men and women of Scripture, you find one common denominator. They were all unqualified. God has a habit of picking people who have been passed over. Have you ever thought about who or what truly has the ability to qualify you? Who has the ultimate right to determine if you are a success or a failure? It's not as simple as it sounds. For example, think about the first qualification system made us experience in life. Grades. Schools invest huge amounts of money and manpower into developing standards and tests. They attempt to summarize students' academic progress with the universal system of numbers and letters. Maybe you've been out of school for a while, but do you remember when your universe revolved around grades? I know I do. Or maybe it didn't, but your parents thought it should, in which case report card day was probably terrifying. It was basically a preview of Judgment Day minus the cherubs and the big white throne. How did you feel when you got a passing grade? Probably relieved. Your parents were happy and life was good again. But think about it. Did that grade mean you learned the material? Or just that you were good at taking tests, or maybe cheating on them? Even more important, did your grade mean you actually knew how to apply what you had learned? Or maybe you got a failing grade. Did that mean you would fail in life? Did the fact that you dated the American Revolution before Columbus, or forgot the quadratic equation, or thought the periodic table had something to do with punctuation, really doom you to an inferior existence? Most of us have been around long enough to know that little letter or number is important, but it's not the final word, not even close. History is filled with successful academic dropouts from Abraham Lincoln to Walt Disney to Bill Gates. This whole business of judging and assessing and qualifying one another doesn't stop with school. It is deeply ingrained in our culture and psyche. Just look at our cliches. Pass the test, make the cut. Fall short, measure up. Make the grade, earn your stripes, pay your dues. We constantly analyze and summarize each other. We compare people to our standards, spoken or unspoken, to see how they measure up. Then we accept them or reject them. We praise them or criticize them. We all secretly administer exams in the university of our own opinions. But just like grades in school, our evaluations don't usually tell the whole story. They are artificial, limited attempts to quantify something that can't really be reduced to a number, a letter, or a word. But we keep trying because we're human and that's what we do. Basically, we tend to qualify people based on character and competency. Character refers to who we are, not just our names or nationalities, but our personalities, our morals, values, our emotional makeup, our likes and dislikes, tastes, our manners. The list can go on. Competency refers to what we do. It's a complex sum of our training, achievements, talents, activities, and potential. It's about how good we are at what we do and about how we accomplish. Our competency is usually much more at the forefront than our character. What we do makes headlines. It fills the pages of our resumes. It is so intricately connected to our identity that we often think it is our identity. Sooner or later, though, our character gets the last laugh. People might hire us and use us for what we do, but they accept us and like us for who we are. And ultimately, of course, who we are determines what we do. You can pretend for only so long before the real you comes out. The moment we meet a new person, we size up that person. We don't do this consciously for the most part, and it isn't necessarily mean-spirited. We automatically gather clues about the other person's character and competency. We start to categorize the person in a relationship to us. Will we be friends? Am I interested in knowing this individual better, or should we just be casual acquaintances? Will he advance my career? Does she need my help? Is he a threat to me? Does she have something to offer me, or do I have something to offer her? It would be easy to lament how selfish all this sounds and to make the case that our standards for others are so subjective and hypocritical they are laughable. But I don't think that would really do humankind justice. Of course, there are elements of subjectivity and self-centeredness in our relationships with others. That is part of the life in a broken, fallen world. It is an instinct of self-preservation. It's not realistic to expect people to accept each other at face value, nor is it healthy to be naive and assume that everyone is our best friend or has our best interest at heart. That's why Jesus told us to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But here's a point worth noting. We tend to be exceptionally poor judges of other people. Have you noticed? And frankly, we aren't even that good at judging ourselves. The lack of accuracy, more than our tendency to assess others in the first place, is the problem. I think that's what seemed kind of outrageous about the comments from my YouTube critic. Where did this guy get his information, his standards, or his authority? I'm not trying to judge his judgmentalism. That would be ironic. But I do have to decide how to react to it, and I don't mean by public response. I'm talking about something far more important, my internal response. How do I view myself? How do I react to the criticism and assessments of a world obsessed with qualifications? How do I silence my own doubts and insecurities and fears of failure? The answer isn't what you think, or at least it wasn't what I thought when I started this journey. Okay, so I'm almost done, okay? Now, keep in mind, I want you to keep thinking of yourself in his place, okay? And again, you're gonna see why this is so important. I used to think that the answer to my failures was to fix them. Did you hear that? I used to think that the answer to my failures was to fix them, that the solution to my weaknesses was to replace them with strengths. I assumed the secret to success was to appear perfect, flawless, and superhuman as possible. I concluded that my character and my competency qualified me or disqualified me. But God's qualification system is much different from ours, and so is his way of approaching our weaknesses. Rather than stressing and obsessing over our lack, we need to find a different qualifier. I believe it will revolutionize the way you see yourself and others. That's what it has done for me. As you understand how God sees you, you will find the freedom and self-confidence that he wants for your life. You will never get those things from human qualifications, by the way. That's a dead-end street. You can never be perfect enough or fail-proof enough to be at peace with yourself on that basis alone. Peace and confidence come through one thing: acceptance. In a culture fixated on self-improvement and self-help, that might seem counterintuitive, but it's true. First, God's unconditional acceptance of you. God knows your true identity, the real you, and he loves you just the way you are. Second, your acceptance of yourself, including your weaknesses. That means confronting the parts of you that you may prefer to ignore. And it means knowing who you are and who you are not in and through the Lord. And third, your acceptance of God's process of change. God's work in your life isn't meant to squelch or eradicate the real you, but rather to bring out the best possible version of you. Those three concepts, identity, weakness, and change, will show up again and again because they are directly related to the issue of being qualified. The three have a very tight relationship. I know the real me, my identity, all too well. I know I have weaknesses. That makes me unqualified. So I try to change my weaknesses, but reality soon sinks in. I can't completely fix myself. So my identity suffers even more, and I feel even less unqualified. As long as my answer to lack of qualifications is just to try harder, as long as my answer to my lack of qualifications is just to try harder to qualify myself, I'll stay stuck in that cycle. Has this ever happened to you? Do your failures ever shout so loudly you can't hear the opportunities? Did you guys hear that? I'm going to repeat that one more time. Do your failures ever shout so loudly you can't hear the opportunities? Do your self-doubts ever sabotage your success before you even get out of the gate? The gap between who you are and what you want to accomplish can feel impossibly wide, and the question is left looming. Am I qualified for this? So that's just a portion. This book is absolutely amazing, seriously. So if you don't have it or you want a new book to read, you need to get it. So I'm going to open it up for discussion because I want to hear what you guys took from that, because I have a purpose as to why I wanted to read that to you guys tonight. Somebody? Anybody? Y'all are chickens.
Can you hear me? I think for me, it's my fear of talking to someone that they're going to tell me no. So
you're catching a good point there.
I often find myself like I'll skip a person because I'll be like, oh, I know they'll say no. But now I'm going back to those people that I was afraid to ask about, and those are the ones that are being like, I've always liked It Works, and I kind of learned that I need to not skip those people the first time, or have them first.
Exactly. And it's that doubt, it's that fear of hearing what that makes you not do it.
No.
Exactly. That was a huge point. I'm so glad that Nikki wasn't scared to say it, because that's exactly why I wanted this to be the focus of our Zoom tonight. Because so many of you are trying so hard. You're messaging out to people, and I see a lot in the thread going back and forth about how, like, I'm messaging people, but I'm either being told no, or they're saying they're not interested, you know, and I know so many of you get frustrated when that happens, but that's where you're lacking that confidence. You know, we've talked in the past about how this really is a numbers game. So I want you to think back. I posted, I believe it was on the team page today. Sorry, I have to burp. So I believe it was in the team page today where I talked about how, if you guys remember correctly, for those of you that were on the team at that time, a couple of weeks ago when we had the $1 million giveaway, the 5 days that we had a chance to get an entry into the $1 million giveaway, I sent out over 1,013 messages in 5 days. That was texts, phone calls, emails, messages through Facebook, messages through Instagram, and a couple on Twitter, actually, which is a new one for me. I haven't really had any success with Twitter yet, and that took massive action. And there were people, if you guys ever heard me talk about your chicken list, the people that you're scared, like Nikki was saying, you're afraid to reach out to because you're afraid of hearing that god-awful word of no, right? And we're all afraid of hearing that word no, because guess what? I don't care who you are, we're all afraid of rejection, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, just like Stephen Furtick said in his book, we all possess that fear of rejection. That's totally normal. But you have to learn that just because society might make you feel like you're deemed unqualified, you're not unqualified. That's a head game that you're playing with yourself. You're letting your fears control you. And you can't let those fears control you. Because what this business is it's not selling. We're sharing the health and wellness products, right? We're sharing the products, we're sharing the business opportunity and what these products can do for people. And once you get out of that frame of mind of I have to sell, it's not about selling. Because guess what? People aren't buying. Technically, they're buying the products, but they're not buying into the products. Does anybody know? Can anybody tell me what they're actually buying into?
They're buying into you.
Exactly.
And the confidence that you have for that product.
Exactly. Because when you show and you exude that confidence, people want to be a part of that. When you show excitement and passion for the products and the business and what they're doing for you, what the business is doing for you, the family atmosphere that we have here on our team and in the company as a whole, that is what attracts people. So I'm going to ask Eden. Eden, I'm going to call you out. Hey, girl. So can you unmute yourself for me?
Can you hear me?
Yep. All right. So I want to ask you a question. What drew you to joining my team?
Mostly helping you get your entry. Once I like was in the group, like in the chat and everything, it was the atmosphere, the team work that I saw. And it was like, oh, I really like this. I really like the team that is built here that I hadn't seen with other groups.
So I love that, but go back to what you first said. You wanted to do what? Help. Did you guys hear that? She joined because number one, I have to have you take the personality test, the personality colors test, but I guarantee you she's mostly yellow.
I never took mine.
Well, I'll have to put the link up for you guys so that those who haven't taken it can take it. But a yellow personality is someone that wants to help others. So, you know, those are the people that they don't necessarily need to know all the facts. They just have to catch a good vibe from you and just kind of get that feeling that you're a decent person, and they're going to do whatever they can to help, just like Eden said. So thank you for volunteering. Well, not really volunteering, kind of volunteered. I kind of did it for you, but thank you. Okay, I want to ask Bethany. Bethany, what attracted you to join my team?
Well, to work with you.
But what was it specifically, do you think? Like overall, what was it that really drew you?
Seeing all of your posts and when you went Ruby, how you posted that and your good bonuses and just how much you have succeeded in such a short amount of time.
Awesome. And then once you joined, what did you think?
At first it was scary, because it's not something I've done. But you and Liz are amazing. I love watching Liz's Facebook Live. Her and John, they crack me up. But as the team has grown, it's not a team, it's a family. And everybody helps everybody.
So what do you think is, in your opinion, what do you think is drawing people when they get on our parties, or when they want to ask questions, when they reach out to you? What do you think is drawing people in?
The excitement, post. I haven't done a Facebook Live yet, so I can't say that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to share? Megan?
Okay, so I have something real quick before I go back to work.
Okay.
So I think my fear is like messaging out to people that I haven't talked to in a while or never talked to, and then not necessarily getting a no, but them thinking that the only reason I'm messaging them is for money. You know what I mean?
And that's a good point, because I know that during that $1 million giveaway, when we had those 5 days, and for those of you that are new that don't know what we're talking about, I won't talk about it for very long, but we did have a promotion with the company where our CEO was giving away $1 million. So 100 distributors were going to get a $10,000 cash bonus. And so we were working really, really hard for that. And during that time, I did something that I don't normally do. I don't normally teach our team to do this, but I had encouraged everyone to reach out to anyone and everyone. I don't care if you've ever talked to them before and you've only met them through Facebook. Reach out to them and just ask them. Don't beat around the bush. Just ask them if they would be willing to try a product or give the company a try for 3 months. And so I love that Jessica brought that up, because normally that is not how I train our team. Normally what I tell you to do is, when you reach out to those people, for example, this is what I do. So when I send out at least 15 to 20 friend requests every single day, I may only get 3 that respond and actually accept it. But when I do get those accepted, I go in and I like one of their posts, and then I like and comment on another one. But I don't make it insincere. I actually go and find one that I really like, or, like the recent picture that they posted of them and their kids, or, their pets, or what have you, and find something that I have in common with them. So if they like to go do karaoke, or if they used to do show choir, or if they babysit in their home, like I try to find something that I can connect with them on, because it's really all about building relationships. And so when you reach out to them for the first initial time, Jessica, the first thing you want to do is hit them up with a compliment and just say, hey, thanks for adding me. I saw the picture of this, or I saw that you used to live in this town, and oh my gosh, that's where I grew up. Do you know so-and-so? Like, find something that you can talk to them about to strike up a conversation. And you don't want to like word vomit on them about the business or the products right away, because what you want to do is you want to build that relationship. We're building friendships here, honestly. Yeah. And you're not just building the friendships, but you're building trust with those people too. Because guess what? You may not ever get to talk to them about the products or the business. They may end up coming to you first, because once you're friends with them, they're going to see your post on Facebook. They're going to see how you're interacting. They're going to see when you're accomplishing things and you're getting shouted out by me or by Liz or another one of our teammates for doing something above and beyond. Or when we go out, like, when you and I have gone out blitzing together and we post pictures. That's showing people the kind of, atmosphere that we have here with our team and with the company. And so I would encourage you to just reach out to those people, find something in common that you can talk to them about, and just start building that relationship. And I would say after a couple of times of messaging back and forth with them, eventually, especially if it's a brand new relationship or someone you haven't talked to in a while, the subject is going to eventually come up about what are you doing nowadays? Like, what do you do for a living? And then it's going to come back, and they're going to kind of play that like a tennis match, and the ball's going to be in your court, and then they're going to ask you what you do. And that's when you can, bring up the conversation of, well, have you ever heard of It Works Global? We're an all natural health and wellness company, and we have a ton of products. I didn't know, have you ever tried our crazy wrap thing before? And just kind of go there. Don't word vomit on them. Don't give them a ton of information. And when people start asking you about the products or the business, just answer the questions they ask. So if they say, well, I just don't have a lot of energy in the afternoons. Do you have anything for energy? I would say, yes, we have a few products. And then I would ask them, what are all of your health and wellness goals? And then just tell them, I would love to know. That way I can kind of cater a list of products specifically for you, so that you don't have to go over all 40 something products,
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I don't want people to think the only reason I'm messaging them is either, just to benefit me and build my team so I get more money, but it's wanting people to know that I'm there to help them too. Like, it's not just for me. So that's the fear that I have, is that they won't take it as she's here to help. You know what I mean?
And what I would suggest to you and anybody else that's struggling with the same thing is look at it more like you want to add friends on Facebook. You want to build more relationships. Because if you look at it in that light, it's not going to be necessarily a business, thing. Because you're going to be working, you're going to mentally be thinking, I want to build this relationship with this person. Because you don't want to necessarily, you want to try to get to know the people, so that you can, like, when you hear that they're not feeling well, be like, you know what, especially if they're local, be like, hey, where do you live? Would you mind if you gave me your address? I'd be happy to drop by a couple of packets of greens on the go to help you knock out this cold or whatever a little faster. It'll really help to boost your immune system, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I always suggest that you work on building relationships with people. Don't necessarily look at it as a business, like a transaction or whatever. Look at it as an opportunity to build relationships, gain new friendships, because what that's going to do is that you're going to create new people to network with, whether they ever join or buy your products. They may end up referring people to you. And then the same as they may say, you know what, they may not be interested right now, but you continue to build that relationship, and people are eventually, and I can swear this, after 9 months, there are people that are just now wanting to sign up to, order products, but they're reaching back out to me. I'm not pushing them to order products. They know from my post, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I've been wanting to order the greens. Is it too late to order? Can I get in on your month-end special, or, whatever. They might see that I've posted. So building those relationships is really, really crucial, because you got to look at it in the long run too. You're planting those seeds. Okay?
All right, I got to get back to work.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, anybody else have, I think Megan, you were wanting to. Go ahead, girl. Unmute yourself.
I hope don't mind Zoe. She's like on my last nerve. So, well, too bad Jessica jumped off really quick, because I had something. She was like scared about people thinking that she's only adding them or messaging them to, basically, to them it's like pushing something on them. I've had a few people, like I have had at least 100 people that I've added in the last week, that I think I told you about the Janberry lady. There's a few other consultants and others so I haven't even heard of, like crazy stuff. And before I get to message them, because when they accept me, I'm just like, thanks for the ad. I'm really hoping to get to know you. And this, I've had at least 5 people jump to me before I could jump them, like, hi, so you're It Works distributor, and I'm a Janberry. I really hope that we can meet, maybe discuss product to product, maybe have a party together. I mean, like, I've had people that reach out to me, like, they're like, I'm here to make friends in all companies, and it's not about the money to me. Like, the way that some of these people are wording it, it's like, that gives me an idea, so that other people aren't feeling like, oh, she's just adding me to sell.
Right. And
So
that's why it is important, because you're saying about how you're wanting to build some new friendships, and that's a great way to network, because I do the same thing. I actually have a unique presenter that her and I are going to partner up and do a couple of parties together, where we're going to do like a pampering party.
The lady I met at the house?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Her and I are working on coming up with some type of a girls' night where we would use our facial products. So we would do a exfoliating peel, the cleanser, the facials, and then she would follow up and do like a mini makeover. And then I'm going to get a hairstylist in here to offer up 2 or 3 different hairstyles for short, and then same for long hair. So it's kind of just like a girls' night in type of thing, but get to try out the makeup. They get a hairstyle, so they meet a new hairstylist. and so it kind of helps for us to network together and bring business to one another, because then she can invite their guests, their current customers from Unique or whatever company it might be, and vice versa. So it's a great way to really broaden your network, because you're going to open up your network to them, and it's going to open up their network to you, because there may be people, our current loyals or our potentials, that may not be interested in our stuff right now, but guess what you're going to gain? You're going to gain respect by opening up your network and showing them that you have befriended other people in other direct sales companies. That's going to help you to earn a lot more respect too, because they're going to see that you're not all out for yourself. You're more than willing to say, hey, I saw you were looking for some makeup. I know somebody. Do you want me to give you her information? Okay.
Yeah, I've had a lady that I think it was, I don't remember what the company's name was, but she was like, oh yeah, my friend, she's like on the edge about it works, and everybody she's talked to has been like sketchy and just more about money and this and that. And she's like, can I give you your info? I'm like, yeah, go for it. And then I was thinking how you were wanting to do the Unique party. One day we should do like a spa party, and I can contact the Jamberry, because there's a lot of like people that love that. I mean, you still do it all the time.
Oh my gosh, I have a stockpile of Jamberry. So
right. And yeah. And then I was gonna like answer your question from the other thing, but I totally like went way off topic.
That's okay.
But I want to say the reason why I like joined was really I didn't care to like make money or any of that stuff. It's really because like you made it look so fun, and like you didn't care what people thought. You didn't care you didn't care what negativity came about it. I mean, you were just like, oh, okay, you don't like it, great, bye, have a nice day. And it was funny because every time there's been a few people who are like, great, I love it, you don't, that's fine, and they've come back to you asking for product. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, what the heck? And then you just kept pushing me, and I'm just like, what is it? What's gonna hurt to try? I lose $100. I spent $100 on coffee like a month. Like seriously, what is it gonna do? It's not gonna do anything. And maybe $100 one day, that's a lot of money just to give away one day. Maybe it not help or work, but in the long run, that's just like, go ahead and buy my coffee in advance, But I thought it was going to be fun.
That $99 too is an investment in you. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment in your own business. You guys are, whether you realize it or not, you guys are entrepreneurs. You are small business owners. I don't care what anybody says. This is not a network marketing scam. It is not a pyramid scheme. You guys are all legitimate business owners. And, and I love that Megan brought that point up. I have had, you guys, I've been in for 9 months now, and I've had a lot of negativity come my way. In fact, I got a lot of negativity at home. My husband was not a supporter at first, not at all. I could be on Zooms, training Zooms, I kid you not, with John and Liz. I was doing training Zooms with them and doing my training videos and things like that. And I was getting text messages from him with screenshots of what network marketing scams were, pyramid schemes. And it was I almost, but not quite let it break my spirit for just a minute. But you know what? It gave me, what I love is I love opposition. I love opposition. I love hearing the negativity, because just like Megan said, I'm like, okay, fine. And you know what? I said, I told my husband, I said, give me 90 days. If I don't go Ruby and grab that $1,000 bonus in 90 days or less, I'll quit. I went executive in less than 30, and I went Ruby in less than 60.
Woohoo.
And here we sit, about to go diamond. So,
but I mean, I've had a lot of negative too, especially out in the open. Like, that one girl, like, and I'm sorry that I was such a smart butt about it, but I had to be like, your negativity makes me laugh, and it just boosts my spirit. Like, I had to slap that. I have a wrap here with your name on it. You want to be smart? I'm going to be smart too, and I'm going to be funny. And people, how many people liked that? Yeah. You don't even know. Liked it. I got so much hits. I just wanted to screenshot of, like, this is what negativity does to me, and just put a big old smile picture of me on Facebook. Mm-hmm.
Well, because you can't let the negativity and the opposition, inevitably it's going to come flying at you. And that's normal, but you can't let that get in the way of what your why is. We all have a why, whether it be to, come home from a full-time job and be a stay-at-home mom or dad, or, be able to quit corporate America altogether, be a stay-at-home family where everyone gets to retire from corporate America. If it's just to make a couple $100 extra to pay, your car payment and your cell phone bill every month, whatever your why is, if you want to get out of debt, if you want to be able to go back to school or pay off school loans, whatever your why is, keep that in the forefront of your mind and keep that as a reminder of this is why you're doing this. So when it feels like, okay, I've posted, and for those of you newbies, you're going to see this and you'll probably see it for the first couple of months, and I don't want it to let it get you down. But you're going to see when you make posts about your family, about your faith, about fashion, about food, people are going to go absolutely crazy and they're going to like and comment and da-da-da-da. They're going to give you their 10 cents, right? But when you post about the business or the products, you're going to see your interaction go from here to down here. And for some reason, people get, I guess, intimidated or they're afraid. They have a fear. See, they don't have a fear of hearing no like we do. They have a fear of other people thinking or seeing that they might just be interested in what you're talking about. I don't know why that is. I think it's just because society has deemed that all direct sales companies are pyramid schemes and network marketing scams. And that's why you'll get a lot of messages, but people won't necessarily comment on everything. But you'll get more of a response when you message out to people. So that's why I say be consistent with your posts and be sure that you are, messaging out to people every day. Because some people, they're looking and they're seeing your posts. They just don't want someone to know that they really want to like it, or they really want to comment, but they don't want it to be known publicly. Okay? Because I know that, and I say that because that was me. Before Liz, and I had followed John and Liz for about 3 years. So it took them a while to get me to believe that this really was true, that you really could change your life, you could make money doing this, and it was legitimate. And I would see her posts, and that's exactly why I say that, because I would see her posts and John's posts. I didn't like them. I didn't comment on them. But if they were about the family, if they were about the kids, when they went out to eat at Chipotle, I was like all over that stuff. I was liking and loving on that stuff all day long. But when it came to anything about the business or the products, I would read it and I'd scroll by. I didn't want to like it or comment because I didn't want them to see that as, oh my gosh, hurry up and message her. But she knew, she knew, like, just like, when you see people constantly posting, which is one of the things that drew Liz to me was I was always complaining about my horrific migraines. I suffered with those for over 25 years. And she constantly was like, just let me send you some samples. I'm like, I'm not interested. I don't want anything. I'm on enough medications as it was. You guys, it took me being on 11 prescription medications for something to finally hit home that I was like, maybe I should try something like natural and organic that might not have mysterious ingredients in it. And it was once I tried those greens that I was like, I don't even care about the rest of the stuff. I don't care about the rest of the products. The greens had me sold. Because the greens helped to fix a problem. They were a solution to a lifelong, almost, since I was 10 at least, to an almost lifelong issue. So that's why I say people are watching, but they might be afraid to like or comment. So when you see people posting about, not having energy, being tired, or they can't wait for the weekend, if you hear them talking about any physical things, energy, wanting to lose weight, they're going to the gym, they want to, especially coming up right after the holidays, you're going to see a huge boom in about a month or so, if not sooner, because of the holidays. And then you're going to see an even bigger boom right after Christmas, because what happens right after Christmas? New Year's resolutions. Everybody wants to go to the gym. Everybody wants to lose weight. Okay? So you're looking for those people. You want to learn to attract your eye to those people that have those issues about energy. They're complaining that they're always sick. they just got over this and now someone else in the house has that. Okay, you should start to think about, learn your products and start to think about what products you can suggest to them. And don't call them out on their Facebook posts. Just say, hey, prayers for you, or I'm thinking about you, or, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I hope you start to feel better soon. Send them a message privately and let them know that, hey, I have something that I think might really help you. Would you mind if I sent you, or if my upline sent you a couple of samples to give it a try and see if you like it? So always be kind of thinking about that type of thing. Another thing I wanted to cover tonight too was Angela had actually asked me, because she's kind of been out of the loop. She's had so much going on in her life recently, and she is ready to really pick up her business. So, which I'm super excited about, because Angela is like, I just love her to death. So she had asked about the Facebook post. So I wanted to go over really quickly. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you guys can see. All right, so, oh my goodness, I have a ton of messages. Okay, looks like Liz sent me some messages. All right, so as far as it goes for Facebook posting, and this is great for you newbies too. So especially you, Juliana, you want to pay attention, and then we'll do our own private training here in the next day or so, and I'll send you the link to that video like I told you about earlier today. But so for those of you who are wanting to know, some new things about Facebook have changed within the last couple of months. So if you're not aware of them, we're going to go over them just really quickly. So when it comes to posting, number one, okay, so like here is a post that I made earlier. Now, you see this post as a distributor. I don't care if you're on our team or if you see a post from another distributor or another leader in the company and you really like their post. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go right here, and I want you to click this. You can do this on your phone too, okay? So you're going to click Save Post. This is going to save it, and I'll show you where to look at those later, okay? Now, I don't want you to go back to this saved post and just copy, just copy and paste it, okay? What you want to do is you do want to copy and paste it into, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to copy this, okay? So we're going to pretend this is someone else's post. And then you're going to go to your status, okay? And then you're going to paste it. But you are not going to post it, because when you take someone else's, I don't care that you're not sharing it, but when you post the exact same words that someone else has posted, what happens is you lose points with Facebook, okay? So already, even if you have a perfect profile and you're not a distributor with It-Works or any other direct sales company, do you know that only about 18% of your posts are visible? So that means literally only about, I think the equation is about a quarter. About 25% of your friends on your Facebook friends list will actually even see that post. Now, if you copy and paste this, and then you put the exact same pictures, and then you post it, even if you save the pictures to your computer or your phone and post them like they are your own, here's what's going to happen. Facebook's new algorithm is going to see that like you are copying someone else's post. So guess what it's going to see it as? Spam. Okay? So don't ever, 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 ever copy and paste someone's status exactly. But let me show you how you can change this post and make it your own, and you won't get flagged. Because when you do copy and paste someone else's post, what happens, even if you share someone else's post that you like, here's what happens. You lose points, and the person whose post you just shared or copied, they lose points. So you're not just screwing yourself, you're doing it to the other person too. So that's why I always stress to you guys, do not copy and paste someone's post exactly word for word. Find your own pictures, find your own, like copy and paste it like I've done here, and then you're going to do this. You're going to reword it, okay? So here's how you can reword this, because you want to change up about 20 to 30% of the post. So I'm going to be like OMG, not H, And then I'm going to say, just look at how easy it is to get over, I'm going to say 12 plus full servings of fruits and veggies. Instead of veggies, I'm going to say vegetables. It's going to seem like really silly changes, small changes, but I'm telling you right now, these little changes will help. Okay? So you're going to say 52 superfoods and herbs, comma, all while helping to properly. And then I'm just going to switch these two. Okay? So instead of saying alkalize first, I'm going to say pH balance. And then I'm going to change it to pH balance to alkalize. And instead of the body, I'm going to say your body. And instead of can it be any easier, I'm going to say could it be any easier. You guys see the difference now? Okay. So that's it. Now, as far as it goes for pictures, just find different pictures. If you see, you know, these are not pictures that I got from Google. These are not pictures I took from anyone else. Those were pictures I took myself of me with my greens and my vitamin water, pouring the greens in. I don't know if you guys realize the how I wanted to make this on purpose. I showed the steps. Do you guys see that? I don't know if you guys realized that when I posted it, but here's step one. You got your juice, your favorite juice or water or beverage, whatever, and you got your greens. You pour it into the greens. And then I did a little 7-second video. You shake it. So see how I kind of did the marketing there? Whereas I'm showing a product, it's me, it's my hand, it's my stuff, but I'm actually showing a visual aid here. Like, look, all you got to do is shake it and then you can drink it. How easy is that? Right? So that just kind of goes to show you how we do that, okay? And then when you are making a post, one of the most important things you can do is when you go to make a status, so let's go make a status. All right, so you guys notice how you have, it says status, photo, life events, and then it's got picture. You can tag people, you can add what you're doing or how you're feeling, you can check in at a location, and you can set a date for the time of your post. Did you know that you could do that on your computer? Aha! See, Facebook has a new feature that most people weren't aware of. You can only do this. I do not believe it's available on the phone just yet, but it is available on your PC. So if you sign into your Facebook from a computer, you can do this there. So you can actually set a date, okay? You can put year, you can put, you know, whatever, blah, 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 okay? So let's take this out of here. So we're going to do, let's just say, I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, so let's just do that. Now, you can put a picture here. Obviously, and my computer's running slow. So you're just gonna pick a picture, you know, whatever you want. I don't want to look for one right now. Okay, so let's just say I added a picture. Then you can tag people. Tag people. Don't tag, I mean, you can tag other distributors, but I would suggest against that unless it's something specifically pertaining to them. Okay? But tag someone you think could use, you know, the information. Like, you know, I would probably tag like John and Liz because they're my upline and I like to keep them, you know, up to date. And I like if when I post them, it shows people on their timeline that their team is doing well, that type of thing. And then always use this feature of how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're watching, what are you celebrating. Do that. Then you want to do a check-in. Now, I don't always do, like I never put my actual address. Sometimes I'll put it as Blacklight because that's the city I live in. But sometimes I'll do generic and I'll just do Columbus because if you go and look, especially you can see it on your phone, when you tag a place, especially if you do like Columbus, Ohio, for those of you that are local to Columbus, there's actually over 2.5 million tags, check-in tags from Columbus. So more people are going to see it. So by utilizing all of these features, okay, all these features that they have, it'll actually bump up your points, and more people are going to see it. So by utilizing all of these features, you can literally jump your post from being seen at only 18% all the way up to 30%, to 33, I think is what it was. So that's a huge jump in numbers, okay? Now, when people start commenting on your post and liking it, it bumps it up and you start getting more points, okay? So you want to do posts that are interactive. Now, we did kind of talk about this last week. Now, like, this is a post shouting out Juliana. And believe it or not, even though it is like a business post, because we're, shouting her out and welcoming her to the team, this is actually an interactive post too, because people are going to like it. People are going to comment, even though it's just It Works distributors. But guess what that does? It bumps it up in your newsfeed and bumps up your points. So now more people are going to see your posts, okay? And then like here, Liz shouted me out today. Guess what? That made my other posts that I've made today bump up into all of my friends. That made them bump up into their news feeds. So that's why I always encourage you guys to shout each other out. You don't have to shout me out. You can shout out each other. You can shout, like shout out Liz. You could, if you want to shout out me, you can, whatever. But when you do that, even if you're tagging someone else, it makes your post more visible, because guess what? Now your post is showing up not just on your news feed, but the person who you're tagging. So that opens up both of your networks, if that makes sense, okay? Here's another good interaction one. This is something, local, okay? So people are sharing it, they're liking it, they're commenting. And then here's an example of when you post something about the products. Not a lot of interaction, and guess what? Only It Works distributors liked it. But guess what? Because right before that, this is where I explain it to you guys again, okay? So you make a post about the products, okay? Like the last thing I had shared was this stuff about, John and Liz doing their live last night. So guess what? The first thing I did this morning, it was not a business or a product post. This was just like my regular morning post. Like, I'm having my coffee, which I haven't drank coffee in a long time, and I'm trying to get back into the habit of drinking a cup of coffee every morning now. I don't know what that was. Somebody's playing with the computer. But this is just showing my cup of coffee and my favorite creamer. Guess what, guys? Who's doing that? Somebody's playing on the computer. Okay, anyway. So you can see, like here, there's tons of comments, there's tons of likes, people were commenting, letting me know. I've actually gotten a couple of messages just because of that coffee creamer. I had one girl that literally commented on my post about the Thin Mint cookie creamer, and then all of a sudden she sent me a message and said, you have to try. That one girl was right. You have to try this. It's so good. I have some. I bought a couple. Do you want me to bring you one? And I was like, oh my gosh, really? From a coffee post? So guess what? I had a lot of interaction there. So the next post I made was either about the business or the products. And again, it's throwing out my information, okay? And then, boom, the next one, not a product or business post. This one, it is a product or business post. Do you guys see the pattern here? So when you make an interactive post, another good interactive post is, let me find it here. Okay, like the food prep thing, that was a big one too yesterday. But see, like this one. This actually had a little bit of controversy because some people were like, oh my gosh, don't go to the circus because of this, da 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 da. But like sharing these inspirational, like Bobby and Chris, especially Bobby, super awesome at making sure every single day she's posting inspirational quotes, every single day, something to get everyone's day started off right. And I absolutely love that, because you know what that's going to do? That's helping to build her network, because people know that they can come to her page first thing every morning when they log on to Facebook, and they're going to get an inspirational message. Okay. See, like here, Jessica shouted me out yesterday, which was so sweet, by the way. I loved it. And then here's another one. See how I posted? This was not about the business. This was not about the products. Again, this was my, first thing in the morning when things calmed down. This was my first post. Showed my coffee, and I'm doing my personal development. This is that book. Okay? Getting lots of comments, getting lots of likes. This is kind of a business post showing that I'm, making things for the team, some gifts and all that good stuff. And then look, shouting out Jenny. Okay. So when you do things like this, it gets people's attention. It gets people commenting. And every time they comment, it makes things pop up into your newsfeed and theirs. Okay. So here again, here's another one. Okay. This is not a product post. This is not a business post. Okay. This is an interactive post here. It went unseen because so many things were tagged of me right before that and right after that. So it didn't go seen very well, but this is an example of an interactive post. So you're asking for people. I shared a Bible verse. This was something I saw when I went to Hobby Lobby with Braley a couple of nights ago. And then I said, oh, it's one of my favorites. What's your favorite Bible verse? That's what I mean by interactive post. Okay. So another example of that, and like here, this girl, Jenny and I both know her. She's a fellow police wife. But she decided this is what I mean by if you're consistent with your posts about, showing inspirational things, just showing your life and just incorporating the business and the products into it, people take notice of that, and they're going to love and respect you, and they're going to want to help you out however they can. So Dawn was so super sweet, and she admitted she hates watching videos. But, she was like so moved by the video that I did, and she decided to shout me out and make a post. And that really grabbed a lot of attention. I actually got a couple of messages from that. So, and this was that video. And again, this is the importance of Facebook Live videos when you get comfortable with it. It is not mandatory. But this, unlike other posts, people don't, like when they stop to read it, you don't know who does. But with a Facebook Live, this is per person. You cannot go back and watch it a couple of times within a week, and it will count for a different view every time. One person per view. So that means 263 people saw this video. Okay? That's why I say it's so important. And then again, a sideline sister tagged me in a picture. So that boosts my post again. Here's another great one. This one, if you guys haven't used it, please use it. This one created so much buzz on my page. Okay, look at how many comments. Just look at how many comments were on here. So that's 36, 37, 38, 39 comments, not including the replies back and forth between me and that person. Now, did you know that when someone comments on your post and you comment back, guess what that does? That really boosts your posts. And if your stuff wasn't really popping up in their newsfeed very much before, it is now. Every time you message someone, it boosts your post into their newsfeed. That's why I say message someone different every single day. Okay? So those are just a couple of things. I don't know if that helped anyone. If anyone has any questions, were there anything else? I can't remember. I thought there was something else someone wanted to talk about tonight, and I can't remember what it was.
I want to say something.
Yes.
If you haven't watched that video that Liz posted,
The 7-minute video?
Yeah, the video about making a video.
Yes. Thank you
That's a
for
good
reminding me. That video, you guys, is absolutely freaking mind-blowing. It is literally like Eden said. It is a short 7-minute video explaining how to make a video, okay? And you're not going to specifically talk about a product. You're not going to specifically talk about your business. But he tells you it was totally mind-blowing. And I've already done my research on a couple of different things. So I already have my first few videos planned out, and I'm going to do my first one tomorrow. And I'll let you guys know how it goes. So if you want to kind of see how I do it first, so you kind of have an idea, that would be a suggestion too. So you guys can kind of see, if you're not sure how to put that plan into action, I'll show you how I did it. And then you guys can kind of take it and make it your own. But he just tells you how to do these crazy, simple, generic videos, how and what it's going to do. Let me see what the word was for it. A generic valuable content. Okay, generic valuable content, and what it does is it draws people in to where you're not having to do all the messages. It will literally bring people to you. They will come to you. Okay, so this video, Liz shared it on Team Enter. I will go ahead and share it on our team page because I do think there's a few of you. I know Juliana is not added to Team Enter yet because I don't want to overwhelm you. So I will post that on our Team Bling page. So you guys have it. It's easier to find that way than having to hunt through Team Enter. And I want you guys to take the 7 minutes and watch it. Take notes. Take notes. He tells you literally word for word, here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is what you're going to do. So I'm super excited because I have a ton of notes. I did my research. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 pages of notes. It was amazing in just 7 minutes. Okay. So be watching for my Facebook Live video tomorrow at some point, and you'll see what I mean. Definitely watch that, though, when you can. And then if you have any questions at all, please never hesitate to message me or post them on the team page. I just want to reinforce to you guys that I love the relationships that we are forming here and the friendships. But we really need to make sure that we're focusing in the team thread, just posting questions, okay? That's more, really the team thread is more for me to inform you of different things because some people don't check the team page. Most people just, a lot of distributors on our team just rely on the thread, and they don't really comment or like on all the stuff on the team page. So if you have any questions about a product or you have a potential customer or potential distributor and you have a question about them or whatever, post it on the team page unless you want to message me privately, if you want an answer right away. If not, utilize the resource of having our team page because you guys are able to utilize that page to help answer each other's questions. And if I see that the answer that someone else is giving isn't correct or something, then, I will fix it. And I will say, well, that's a great idea, but that's not really how we do it. This is how we need to approach it. Okay. So does anybody have any last questions or thoughts before we close out? Sorry, we went a little over tonight, guys. Anyone? Okay. For my local people, raise your hand if you are coming to the party tomorrow night. Okay, I see Megan. Chris. Juliana, are you still coming? I know you were going to try to. Yeah, I'll message her later. Okay. And who's on the phone? Is that Bobby on the phone? Chris? Who's on the phone? I can't hear you. $614-400. Is that you? Okay. I just wanted to see. Okay. All right. Anyway, so for those of you that are going to be here tomorrow, I need you to send me a private message so I can get a final head count and let me know how many guests you're bringing with you because I need to make a run to the store tonight to get last minute supplies. So I just need to know how many I'm preparing for. I can't promise that all of you are going to get to have a pumpkin spice latte because we're looking to have quite a few guests tomorrow. But I will have, other stuff, and it's important. If you don't have guests coming tomorrow, it is not, you don't have to come because it is looking like it's going to be a packed house. I can tell you that much. So if you don't have any guests right now that are coming, work on getting them to come. If you haven't been to a team party in a while, then you definitely need to try to get here. Okay? No one has any last thoughts before we close? No? Nothing from the peanut gallery? All right, well then I guess we are done with our team